How is it going, my biblical beasts? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, because of the shutdown of Nostalrius and the big fat denial of legacy servers, I've decided to compile a list of things that we as the community miss about World of Warcraft. Now, this countdown isn't necessarily going to be about the significant things. However, the things you are going to hear throughout this video are going to be things that bring back nostalgia, and hey, might bring a tear to your eye, who knows. But without further ado, let's begin the video, starting with number 5! The Warcraft Bible! In number 5, we have the mount quests, the class quests, and essentially just mounts in general back in vanilla. During vanilla, unlike contemporary retail World of Warcraft, although the option now exists to learn to summon your epic mounts from the trainer at level 40, the traditional tedious quest chain to unlock the Dread Steed at level 60 still exists in our heart. The quests were given from the former demon trainers found in Orgrimmar, Ironforge, Stormwind, or the Undercity. They had a quest directing you to speak with a human warlock named Morzul Bloodbringer in the Burning Steppes. Morzul is on a hill across the road from the Altar of Storms, which is in extreme northwestern Burning Steppes, west of the Blackrock Mountain. He will send you on a long and expensive, emphasis on the expensive, sequence of adventures, culminating in your learning the Summon Dreadsteed spell, costing a total of 406 gold, which back then was equivalent to around, say, 50,000 gold now. You might be thinking, well, hey, that isn't that much, why did they complain? No, it wasn't the Warlocks and the Paladins complaining. It was the other classes who had to pay 1,000 gold for their epic mount. Although it seems long and tedious, there was a huge sense of achievement. Not many people could use the mounts because of how long they actually took to get. In number 4, we have World PvP. Do you guys remember the time where you could get dishonorable kills? Or the massive server-wide South Shore versus Terran Mill fights? Before Battlegrounds, just you versus the world of Warcraft. There isn't really much to say about this particular countdown, so just look at this and see for yourselves. Number 3, we have the sense of difficulty. Although in World of Warcraft currently we have mythic difficulties, it's not quite the same as that of November 23rd, 2004, up until the release of Burning Crusade. There were so many aspects of the game during vanilla that made the game extremely difficult. Take Naxxramas 40 as an example. 1% of the entire population of World of Warcraft cleared Naxxramas. You might be thinking, 1%? That's actually not that bad. Well, it wasn't quite 1% of the entire population. It was 1% of the guild population, which narrowed that down to probably 1,000 players in all of World of Warcraft at the time. The entire experience of World of Warcraft back then felt so utterly amazing, as an average level 60 would take approximately 25 days of in-game playtime, which is 25 times 24, which is roughly 600 hours of in-game time. During this time, you are able to learn your class and experience the game in a much more intimate way. Questing was difficult, fighting mobs was difficult, dungeons, raiding, you name it. Overall, the game was so much more demanding, but in turn, so much more rewarding. And that's what we all miss and want. And number 2, we have the old talent trees. Back at the release of World of Warcraft, a unique talent tree system was introduced that allowed you to customize your class in a way that best suited your playstyle, up until Cataclysm when this unique system was removed from the game. Despite the cookie cutter specs and builds, it was always so fun seeing new players learning the game and picking the completely wrong talents for their spec, essentially gimping themselves for life. I personally think that this was an extremely valuable asset to the early stages of World of Warcraft, and I wish they would bring them back. But I do have an understanding of why the change was necessary. However, it will never remove the fact that this was one of the biggest tear-jerking moments in World of Warcraft's history for me. And finally, in number 1, we have the sense of community. In World of Warcraft, during vanilla, all the way up until Warlords of Draenor, there was an amazing sense of community within the game. Wherever you would find yourself, you would find hundreds of players and people just like yourself, not to mention the ganking by players from the opposite factions, which was oddly something else that I and many others miss. Within World of Warcraft currently, Blizzard have essentially wasted all of the work that they put into creating the world of Warcraft. What is the point in playing World of Warcraft if no one is ever going to use the world for anything anymore? It's kind of ironic really if you think about it. Back in the glory days, friends lists were full, even ignore lists because of trolls. But now, the only thing we use ignore lists for is ignoring gold selling spammers. I suppose it's only fitting seeing as they are actually the only ones who chat nowadays. The game is so focused towards in-game currently, which is a bad thing in itself for the community, that the game is nothing like it was when we all fell in love with it. Let me know in the comment sections what your favourite moments were back in the day.